this company, this Chinese company, DeepSeek is out. Tech stocks are down. We got that. But the worry seems to be that we didn't think China was going to be able to do something like this and do it a lot cheaper and more efficient, if that's indeed what's going on. So is this some sort of, to use Andreessen's term, a Sputnik moment? Is that what's going on here?
So I think there's a lot to be impressed with in the DeepSeek paper and the DeepSeek model that they've released. It's a genuinely impressive technical achievement. However, we already knew that there was a lot of smart and hardworking people in China. It's been a long time since China started delivering legitimate technological innovations across social media, across cloud computing, across AI. This is not a surprise to folks who've been a part of this industry. Where DeepSeek is really extraordinary is in terms of taking performance that usually takes a supercomputer and making it available on such a cheap basis. But to anybody like myself, who's been a part of the AI story for about 10 years now, this is not a surprise. I remember when GPT-2 came out and it required a supercomputer. Now it runs on my laptop. I remember when GPT-3 came out and required a supercomputer, and now it runs on my laptop. So the folks who are working at OpenAI or Anthropic or Google, they have been through this story before, and their corporate strategy takes this into account.
Okay.
They are.
So you think, right, so not that it's much ado about nothing, but it was something that people who were in the business saw coming. There's a couple of things. There's a couple of things I want to dive into here. Just think some of it is of interest to me. I think it's really, really interesting, and some of it's just really, really basic. And maybe Nate, you'll take this one first. Just people watching and saying, "Well, I watched everything went on with TikTok. That was a Chinese company. Should I use this thing? Stay away from this thing?" What about that most basic question? What would you tell people watching who don't know anything else about it except, boy, this new product's out. Greg says it works pretty well. Should I use it as an American or just stay away from it?
Absolutely not, and you should stay away from it. The performance, I'm all for individual competition in the marketplace. The benchmarking, as you say, it's an impressive report when you look at the benchmarks. Those benchmarks have been out there and they're bogeys for, to be hit. So if you're backing into a report like that, you can, reduce, in this case, the accuracy of the output. So saying it's good enough or making a half measures makes it not apples to apples. So there's the weight of the computation, and then there's human versus artificial intelligence. One must consider humans that are behind artificial intelligence, even regimes in this case, where you consider Chinese data is not as valuable as the rest of the free world because we have choice, we have freedom. And so, I think there's aspects of this that come down to values. And if you're an American company right now, you're hard pressed to understand what's going on with artificial intelligence. Very elitist, and I'm for the democratization of this and the use of this technology by a laundromat. It's valuable, but if you're going to go to anything, you would think IBM Watson or Oracle or even technologies that you would trust here in America that may be more expensive, but that would be accurate and that you could trust. So,
and what about your own data, or the fact that it's open source and it goes on your computer, protect your data? I don't know, Greg. I don't know the technicals about that. What is it? Should Americans be concerned about using this, or to Nate's point, or should they just be willing to pay up for something that's better? I mean, how would you look at it from a consumer's point of view?
Well, you're asking the question of should American consumers use this, and I want to refocus it on can they use this? They can't. And
well,
right now, right? But DeepSeek is currently experiencing a massive outage, and we should ask ourselves.
Understood, but they could have before that. Let me explain that for a second. So that came out earlier today, right? So there was this. You have to have a Chinese email address to sign up now because there was some sort of an attack on the company or just a problem with the company. What happened?
I don't take that as credible.
You're saying that they say it was, but you don't think it was.
I do not.
Okay.
And it's worth pointing out here that there's a lot of echoes when Huawei released their 5G smartphone when Gina Raimondo, then the Secretary of Commerce, went to China. It was a publicity stunt designed to humiliate the Secretary of Commerce and try to persuade the United States government away from the path of export controls, restricting the sale of advanced AI chips.
I was wondering if this whole thing was that. That's why I brought it up earlier, bid if true. Like, in other words, like, are they really Are they really doing it as cheap as they say?
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.